sense of West Africa's investment world. This podcast is brought to you by Daba, your most comprehensive platform for investing in African stocks, bonds, and managed funds. You can download the Daba app on your favorite Google and Apple app stores. Today, we dive into the trading week of August 18th to August 20th, 2025. And here's the great news. The BRVM closed the week on a strong upward trend. Let's begin with the market indices. The main index, the BRVM composite, rose by 1.69%, finishing at 319.04 points. The BRVM 30, which includes the most traded stocks, also gained 1.71%, reaching 154.80 points. And the BRVM Prestige, which highlights the large-cap companies, posted the strongest performance, climbing 2.02% to 132.12 points. 3 out of 3 indices went up, a clear sign of renewed investor confidence across the regional market. But what does this mean for you, whether you are a retail investor or an institution? It shows that appetite for African equities is strengthening. Investors are willing to take positions on solid, diversified companies. In simple terms, it's an encouraging signal if you're looking to build wealth in West Africa. Now let's look at trading activity. The market recorded 5,149,096 shares, traded for a total value of 4.185 billion francs CFA. That's an increase of more than 5% compared to the previous week's 4.078 billion francs CFA. This growth in turnover confirms that the BRVM is attracting more active investors, with more money moving across the exchange. In other words, liquidity is improving. For you as an investor, that means you can enter or exit positions more easily. For listed companies, it reflects growing trust and interest, which can support stronger and more stable valuations over time. Now, let's talk about sector performance. The textile sector was the clear leader, surging 22.41%. Behind it, the distribution sector jumped 11.63%, while the chemicals sector advanced 8.26%. 3 different sectors, all moving higher, which shows that this rally is broad-based rather than isolated. For investors, the key message is diversification. The textile sector may have dominated, but distribution and chemicals also delivered growth. That means opportunities aren't limited to a single pocket of the market. For entrepreneurs, this signals a dynamic consumer environment, attracting more investor capital into the regional economy. Let's zoom in on the top-performing individual stocks. The week's biggest winner gained 22.41%, closing at 710 francs CFA. This rise was fueled by stronger first quarter 2025 results, marked by a 14% revenue increase, improved operating margins, and even a net profit of 8.206 billion francs CFA thanks to a leaseback operation. Investors clearly rewarded the company's recovery. The second-best performer jumped 22.19%, ending the week at 1,900 francs CFA, maintaining momentum after already leading the prior week. A third stock climbed 20.20%, reaching 1,220 francs CFA. 3 big moves upward, confirming that the BRVM remains fertile ground for strong gains. For investors, these gains are significant. They demonstrate that the market rewards companies with solid results, effective cost management, and clear growth prospects. If you're building a medium or long-term portfolio, this kind of momentum can be a driver of strong returns. Of course, not everything was positive. Some companies lost ground. One stock dropped 5.88% to close at 500 francs CFA. Another fell 5.24% to 1,265 francs CFA. A third slid 2.78% to 7,530 francs CFA. These declines remind us that the market remains selective. Investors punish companies facing difficulties or uncertain outlooks. For you, this underlines the importance of careful stock selection. Choosing the right names can generate spectacular returns, but poor choices can mean losses. That's why staying informed with reliable analysis is essential, which is exactly what Daba Pro provides every week. Now let's shift to the bond market. Here, the picture was more mixed. Total bond market capitalization dipped slightly by 0.39%, reaching 10,456.4 billion francs CFA, compared with 10,497.8 billion the week before. Even though this decline is modest, it shows investors' focused activity on a handful of issues. In terms of volume, 34,783 bond units were traded, worth 191.4 million francs CFA. The standout was a private real estate bond, which alone accounted for 77% of volumes. Nearly 30,000 bonds worth 147.5 million francs CFA. That made it the most liquid bond of the week, underlining strong investor interest in this instrument. What does this mean for you? It means that if you are seeking stability and fixed income, the bond market still provides a viable option, even if activity is concentrated on fewer names. The 10-year or 8-year maturities can provide stability, especially when balanced with equity holdings. Looking at the week as a whole, what do these trends tell us? First, that confidence has returned to the BRVM, with indices rising and liquidity improving. Second, that multiple sectors, textile, distribution, chemicals, are emerging as growth engines. And third, that the bond segment remains resilient despite a slight dip in capitalization. Overall, the signals are broadly positive for investors considering entry or reinforcement of positions. But the real question is, which names deserve attention next week? For that, you'll find in-depth analysis and specific recommendations exclusively on Daba Pro. That's where you get the full list of stocks rated for buy, hold, or reduce. Remember, Daba Pro is the premium subscription that helps you get the most out of investing in Africa. You receive weekly recommendations, detailed stock analysis, exclusive data, and even reduced transaction fees. With Daba Pro, you don't just follow the markets, you stay ahead of them. For next week, sectors worth watching closely include those that have shown strong resilience recently, as well as those in recovery mode. Textile already set the pace, but distribution and chemicals could deliver further surprises. Investors may also want to keep an eye on liquid bonds, which can provide attractive entry point. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to the Daba Markets Talk podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with another update. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, follow us, and share with friends. Remember, this information is for educational purposes. Always do your own research or consult with a financial advisor before making investment decisions. And download the Daba app on your app store to start investing in African stocks, bonds, and manage portfolios through your phone and find other helpful content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing your financial knowledge.